Your credit card usage affects your credit utilization ratio, which is one of the main factors in calculating your credit score. But what is credit utilization ratio and why does it matter? Credit utilization ratio is the percentage of your total available credit that you are currently using. For example, if you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and a $500 balance, your credit utilization ratio is 50%. If you have two credit cards, one with a $1,000 limit and a $500 balance, and another with a $2,000 limit and a $1,000 balance, your total credit utilization ratio is 37.5%, $1,500/$4,000. Credit utilization ratio is important because it accounts for 30% of your credit score, according to the FICO scoring model. It shows how well you manage your debt and how risky you are as a borrower. Generally, the lower your credit utilization ratio, the better your credit score. Why is that? Because using too much of your available credit can indicate that you are overextended and may have trouble paying back your debts. Creditors and lenders prefer to see that you have plenty of unused credit that you can tap into if needed. So what is a good credit utilization ratio? There is no definitive answer to this question, as different scoring models may have different thresholds. However, a common rule of thumb is to keep your credit utilization ratio below 30%. This means that you should not use more than 30% of your total credit limit across all your cards, or more than 30% of the limit on any individual card. Keeping your credit utilization ratio below 30% can help you boost your credit score and show lenders that you are responsible with your credit. However, this does not mean that you should aim to use exactly 30% of your credit limit. In fact, the lower your credit utilization ratio, the better. Some experts suggest aiming for 10% or less. How can you lower your credit utilization ratio? There are two main ways: paying down your balances and increasing your credit limits. Paying down your balances will reduce the amount of debt you owe and free up some of your available credit. Increasing your credit limits will give you more available credit without increasing your debt. You can request a higher credit limit from your card issuer, or apply for a new card with a generous limit. However, be careful not to increase your spending when you have more available credit. This will defeat the purpose of lowering your credit utilization ratio and may hurt your credit score in the long run. The best way to maintain a low credit utilization ratio is to pay off your balances in full every month and only charge what you can afford to repay. To sum up, your credit card usage affects your credit utilization ratio, which is one of the main factors in calculating your credit score. Your credit utilization ratio is the percentage of your total available credit that you are currently using. The lower your credit utilization ratio, the better your credit score. You can lower your credit utilization ratio by paying down your balances and increasing your credit limits. However, you should also avoid overspending and keep track of how much you owe on each card. One of the best ways to improve your credit score is to pay your credit card balance in full and on time every month. This shows that you are a responsible borrower who can manage your debt and avoid costly interest charges. But how can you do that? Here are some tips to help you avoid late payments and high interest charges on your credit cards. First, keep track of your due dates and set reminders for yourself. You can use a calendar app, a budgeting app, or an online banking platform to alert you when your payment is due. You can also enroll in automatic payments if your card issuer offers this option. This way, you don't have to worry about forgetting or missing a payment. Second, pay more than the minimum amount if you can. The minimum payment is the lowest amount you have to pay to avoid a late fee, but it won't reduce your balance much. In fact, if you only pay the minimum, it could take you years to pay off your debt and cost you hundreds or thousands of dollars in interest. By paying more than the minimum, you can save money on interest and pay off your debt faster. Third, keep your balance low and avoid using too much of your available credit. Your credit utilization ratio is the percentage of your credit limit that you use, and it affects your credit score. A high credit utilization ratio can indicate that you are overextended and may have trouble paying back your debt. A good rule of thumb is to keep your credit utilization ratio below 30%. This means that if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you should try not to use more than $300 at any given time. Fourth, don't carry your credit card with you unless you plan on using it specifically. Having your credit card in your wallet can tempt you to make impulse purchases that you don't really need or can't afford. If you leave your credit card at home, you can avoid overspending and accumulating unnecessary debt. Fifth, consider closing credit cards that you don't use or need. Having too many credit cards can make it harder to keep track of your payments and balances. It can also increase the risk of fraud or identity theft if someone gets hold of your unused cards. Closing unused credit cards can simplify your finances and reduce the temptation to spend more than you can pay back. By following these tips, you can avoid late payments and high interest charges by paying your credit card balance in full and on time every month. This will help you boost your credit score, save money, and achieve your financial goals.